Afternoon VC, Harris here with another video. The day's finally arrived. Saints, Southampton are going to be relegated against Liverpool, and despite it being only a 30-minute walk down the road and I've got a ticket, I can't go. I've watched us being relegated twice before. I can't go through the pain anymore. So I've given a ticket to my mate. I'm off up to London tonight for a night out. I just want to stay away from it all, so it should be good times. On the plus side, I found a load of old record mirrors at my mum's. Look at these. Look at these. Weller. Edwyn Collins. Grogan. Claire hose me down. Oh my days. Great. I love looking at these. These are brilliant. These are amazing time capsules. But I actually tried to get my hair like Paul Weller back in about 1984. Like, I used a Cossack hair foam, which you used to spray it in. I tried to look like Paul Weller, ended up looking more like Ray Reardon, which was a bit of a... Or for any Americans out there, Eddie Munster. But these are such good time capsules. Look at this. An advert for BT Discline. Kids nowadays moan about £10 a month on Spotify. We were ringing BT for 30p a minute to listen to one song. This has to be the most English line ever. London Discline, available throughout the year. Outside London, 24 hours a day, except during the season's major cricket matches. What's that? Can you imagine that? Please state which artist you'd like to hear. Paul Young. Please state which track you want to hear. Wherever I lay my hat, that's my home. I'm sorry, that is not available. England are playing Sri Lanka in the Texaco Trophy at Lord's. Oh, what? What is that? That's brilliant, isn't it? I just love... What were we doing? Were we using that? Anyway, a bit of a vinyl haul. I've not done a haul video for about 2-3 months, man. First up, Richard. Southampton Record Fair. Richard from the VC was there, as ever. And in fact, I saw him there yesterday, but apologies, Richard, I was in a bit of a rush. I didn't get a chance to come over and say hi. But I got this off him, which I've kind of always wanted. This is almost for me, guilty pleasure territory, because it's not my normal wheelhouse, which is the church Starfish, which I've seen about talked about, and I really like it. I was playing it again this morning. It's kind of like indie stadium rock, and brilliant tracks. Destination is a fantastic opener. Under the, it's all good. It's all really good actually, and I just really enjoy this. It's brilliant, and I say it's kind of, they're Australian. They sound a little bit like, I suppose, Echo and the Bunnymen. Speaking of which, Vinilo Vintage in Southampton down the Queensway. I got the Echo and the Bunnymen Killing Moon 12-inch 9-minute version. If you want a 9-minute version of The Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen, your ship's come in, because this is rather marvellous. I'm a big fan of 12-inch singles just because they sound fucking amazing. But yeah, this is one track, 9 minutes. Sounds good, and a great version of Do It Clean on the back, and fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. And also from Vinilo Vintage, and I was really chuffed to get this. The last great New Order single, New Order Regret on a 12 promo copy, not for resale. Fantastic. I mean, the last great New Order single, and this actually isn't the version that was on the album. This is the Farley and Heller remix. So it's the first ever New Order remix that actually makes them sound like any other dance band. So it's kind of almost like what in the UK in '93 you'd call handbag house, I suppose. There's sort of Italian house pianos going on, but it's actually a really decent remix. I love it. And as I say, I was thinking just before doing this video, in terms of expectation meets reality, I'm going to say that New Order's Republic album that this came off is the worst album ever. I'm talking about expectation meets reality. I mean, they'd done Technique in '89, and then the Red Flags were there because it took them another 4 years to write the album. And I just remember rushing out, buying it on vinyl, getting it home, and it's just, apart from Regret, which the album version is wonderful as well. I think it is their last great tune. But so the 12-inch of Regret by New Order. I love this Peter Saville sleeve now. I remember being distraught when I saw the sleeve for this. But love it. Fantastic. But there's an Andy Weatherall remix on the back as well, but it's not up to much, to be honest. Next up, new record shop in Southampton. You've got to go across the 8th wonder of the world, the Itchen Bridge. But it's called Eric's Vinyl in Woolston. It used to be a fish and chip shop. And I bought Slates by the Four. I used to have this years ago. One of the first ever Four. It's their 10-inch single. For a lot of people, this is like this was maybe one of their greatest moments. I've got to say, I've re-listened to it. It's not quite as earth-shattering as I remember. I mean, it is great. And Leave the Capital. It still sounds a bit like the Monkees to me. Leave the Capital. Yeah, and this I think it's the last track that Mark Riley, as in Mark and Lard, who became one of Britain's most popular daytime radio presenters, was on. But yeah, Slates by the Four, 10-inch single, still great. Probably would be a decent entry point into early Four, the pre-Brick Smith era. But yeah, pretty decent. And yeah, glad to have it. I am playing it quite a lot. But yeah, not quite as earth-shattering as it was when I was 13 years old, maybe. Next up, I got this from Oxfam, and I was really pleased to find this. If you're talking about bands that had top 40 albums, yet never really get talked about, and have almost feel like they've been written out of history, the Redskins, neither Washington nor Moscow, came out in '86. They were like a lot of English chart bands at the time, they were very left-wing, very political, got to number 30 in the charts. This album is fantastic. It's almost an exact meeting point between Dexy's Midnight Runners, the Gino era really, and the House Martins. It's got this sort of impassioned soul vocals, sort of Stax horns, Motowny bass lines, and kind of jangly guitars. I'd go to something like Kick Over the Statues is a great track, but this is pretty much all killer. It's just almost like Northern Soul with a bit of punk, and so they got to number 30 in the charts. Then they split up, like a lot of these bands. They all had an argument and fell out. But yeah, the Redskins, neither Washington nor Moscow. £12 this was in Oxfam. I was pretty chuffed to get it. They said there was a surface noise, but I can't hear any. And yeah, fantastic stuff. Also from Vinilo, I got the 12-inch of Human League, Being Boiled with Circuit. I mean, one of the great. I always associate Being Boiled with Kraftwerk's The Model and Gary Newman's Cars. Because I think they're all in the charts around the same time. When I was young, 8 or 9, and they all I think were top 3 hits, weren't they? I think this got re-released and got top 3. What a fantastic single Being Boiled is. One of the great kind of. I always feel like Visage kind of ripped it off a little bit and made it a bit more for We Fade to Grey, but I still love We Fade to Grey as well with Visage. But yeah, the Human League's Being Boiled on a 12. I'm really pleased to get this. Equally pleased to get. I am a bit of a collector of 12-inch versions of Out of Touch by Daryl Hall and John. What a sleeve that is. Look at that. Out of Touch by Hall and Oates. Fantastic. The perfect soundtrack to a nightclub slaying in Vice City. But another reason I got this is it's got the original of Every Time You Go Away. Which Paul Young murdered in '82. Their version is absolutely magnificent. I absolutely love it. I mean, they wrote it, and I know that they were absolutely despondent when they heard Neil Young's version. Paul Young's version. Did I say Neil Young? Paul Young's version, which appeared on Deja Vu, which was a huge hit in the UK. His version of Every Time I Go Away, as well, which I always thought was Drek. And yeah, the original is a really fantastic tune of theirs. Really fantastic. And yeah, just please, I'm always happy to get a version of Out of Touch. And this is the Arthur Baker. Arthur Baker remixed New Order's Confusion, and he's remixed this as well. But it's not really a remix. He's just tweaked it a bit. Record Fair again. I think last month, there's a bloke there who was doing 2 12-inches for £8. So I got 2 Chemical Brothers 12-inch Star Guitar, which might be their best single, I think. It's a real glider. It's beautiful. It's got a really lovely video on YouTube as well for it, where it's just a train going through Midwest America while the track plays, which kind of sums it up. It's a really lovely track, Star Guitar, by the Clems. And also Setting Sun, where they got Noel Gallagher in. This came out in '96. I think it was a #1 single in the UK, the height of Britpop. So it was kind of like, ironically, this is the only time I think Noel Gallagher sounded like the Beatles. You know how everyone says that Oasis sounded like the Beatles? I hear them sound a bit like Slade or, I don't know, Glam. But I don't know a single Oasis track that sounds anything like the Beatles, apart from maybe All Around the World, which was like some sort of pastiche of All You Need Is Love. But yeah, this was the Chemical Brothers, giving it a bit of dance action, trying to make a track like something like one of those sort of experimental Beatles tracks, really. But yeah, Setting Sun was a huge hit in Britain. It's probably the peak really of Britpop. It came out around '96, and Britpop obviously had the guitar bands, obviously had the dance bands. So this is where dance and guitar collided, and yeah, not bad. But yeah, got those two for £8. And a last couple from Oxfam. I'm really chuffed to get these, both on the Roulette label. My name is DJ Falcon, and So Much Live to Give by Together. These are hard to find now, and Oxfam put these on at a decent price, kind of half Discogs median. So I think there's about 8 or 9 Roulette 12 inches, and I'm always keen to get them. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'm off up to London, and I might be at the Reading Record Fair tomorrow. I'm not sure. I might on my way home, but yeah, speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye now.